And welcome to the Sound Alive Sports Network. Coming to you in action here, Lynnwood High School versus Mountlake Terrace. And as soon as we come on air, we get a quick timeout. Lynnwood up 9-0. We'll keep it right here as that is a 30-second timeout. Get you caught up on a little bit of scoring here as, again, we are only 100 seconds into this ball game. And just to get you up to speed as to what's going on here, 9 points for the Lynnwood Royals. Monty Cooper just hit a three a moment ago, which I believe you might have caught right as we were coming down the air. We've got a Jordan Edwards layup, as well as two Michaela Pivic baskets to start the game. Lynnwood 9, Mountlake Terrace 0. This is a battle of two teams that are, well, quite the contrast here. The Lynnwood Royals, a team that finished in third place in the state tournament last year when they were a 4A school, and are certainly one of the favorites to win the entire thing this year at the 3A level, versus a very young Mountlake Terrace team, a team that has 5 freshmen on their roster, 3 of which started tonight. So you've got a veteran Royals team that has aspirations of winning quite a few games and maybe hoisting some hardwood in the Tacoma Dome in March, versus a Mountlake Terrace team that has 1 senior and really is in rebuild mode. And we're going to see what they can do here as Pivic going at Riley Zucker, almost got the steal. Zucker able to avoid it. Jordan Edwards finally able to bat the ball out of bounds. We'll get you your starting lineups here in just a moment, too, as it doesn't look as though any substitutions have really happened yet, other than one for the Hawks. Mountlake Terrace in the home white right now, dribbling the basketball. That is number 10, Skylar Zink. She's a freshman, gets it stolen away. Danny Hayes gets it, finds a Monty Cooper, swings it over to Michaela Pivic. Pivic lays it up and in, and Zach Wild, the coach of the Mountlake Terrace Hawks, wants another 30-second timeout. So it is now 11-0, and we have extended that into a full timeout. We're still going to keep it here to get you caught up. So the Lynnwood Royals starting lineup is as follows. Number 3, Monty Cooper. She is a 5'10" senior. Number 4, Jordan Edwards, the 5'10" junior. Number 10, Michaela Pivic, 5'10" junior. Pivic getting quite a few looks from many Division I colleges, namely Pac-12 schools all throughout the West Coast. Averaged 15 points and 14 rebounds as a sophomore last year. And she is certainly one of the best players in the state, and she's showing it earlier. She has 6 points. Rounding out the starting lineup was number 14, the 6'1" sophomore Kelsey Rogers, and number 33, the 5'4" senior guard Danny Hayes. Looking at your Mountlake Terrace Hawks lineup, number 10, the junior guard, Skylar Zink, joined in the lineup with her sister, the 5'6" freshman, Jasmine Zink, wearing the number 30. Number 23, Jory Lambert, the 5'7" freshman, also in that starting lineup. Juanita Johnson, the freshman, number 34, started out the game. She primarily goes in just to do the tip before the game. She gives the Hawks some height. She was immediately substituted out for another freshman, Ashley Clippert, who's wearing the number 42. And rounding out the lineup, last but certainly not least, number 32, Riley Zucker, the senior. Steal by the Lynnwood Royals right there, missed the shot. Hawks able to get it back. Juanita Johnson, who's checked back into the game, gets it. Can't hold on to it. It goes to Hayes. Pivic finding a cutting to Monty Cooper. Cooper lays it up and in. She now has 5 points on the game, 13-0 with 5:38 to go. That is Skylar Zink bringing the ball up, gets it to Ashley Clippert. Lynnwood showing the full court press for the first time tonight. Kind of assumed they would do that quite a bit here in the first quarter. That's more or less their calling card. Joey Lambert with the ball in the corner right now. Should mention this is a Lynnwood team that beat Jackson High School 71-18 the other night. Score at the end of the first quarter of that game, 24-0. So thus far in the 2014-2015 season, the Mountlake Terrace Hawks, or not, the Lynnwood Royals rather, have yet to give up an opponent point in the first quarter of play. Ball's being swung around. Zucker cutting in through the lane, floats it up, gets it to go. Does it count? No, it does not. 3 in the key violation called against the Hawks. Mountlake Terrace still looking to get on the board. 5:02 to go here in the first quarter. Lynnwood Royals 13, Mountlake Terrace 0. Pivic cut it into the lane, dishing nicely down to Kelsey Rogers, up and in. Lynnwood now with 15 points. Not keeping assists at the table here, but she's got at least 2 already to go along with her 6 points. Tori Lambert goes up for the shot, and Kelsey Rogers, the 6'1" sophomore, flies in and blocks the shot. And we're getting our first substitutions of the night for Lynnwood right now. Number 2, Riley Walsh, a 5'8" guard, checking in, along with Caprice Boston, 5'10" sophomore, who had 20 points in that Jackson game the other night. Mountlake Terrace also making a substitution there a moment ago as shot goes up by Zink, misses it. Rebound coming down to Cooper. Cooper dishes over to Rogers. Rogers along the baseline. Can't get that one to go. Out of bounds. I'm going to say it's Mountlake Terrace basketball. Lynnwood employing the press one more time here. 15-0. Lynnwood in the lead. Riley Zucker looking to get the ball past half court and does so. Gets double teamed there. She gets trapped. Wrestle for the ball as Cooper ties her up. Held ball, and the possession goes over to the Lynnwood Royals. Should let everybody know at this point that we will be broadcasting the boys game tonight as well, which is scheduled to start at 7 o'clock. We'll be joined for the first half of that game by Everett Edwards, the head coach of this Lynnwood Royals girls team. He'll be providing us with some color commentary as well as talking about the upcoming season for the Royals and discussing in further detail their chance of a state championship. And when you get shooting like that, why wouldn't you? Danny Hayes with her first bucket of the game, a three-pointer. 18-0, and we're just a little bit past the halfway point here in the first quarter.
First personal in Monty Cooper, second team foul on the Royals. Last ball.
Cooper drawing the foul there for Lynnwood, her first, only the second foul of the entire game. Jasmine Zink, the freshman with the ball, being guarded closely by the senior Danny Hayes. Finds Riley Zucker over to the right. Riley shot off the mark. Here comes Monty Cooper pushing forward to a cutting Walsh. Walsh finds Rogers down low, up and in. Rogers now with 4 points here in the first quarter. It is 20-0 already. Ball is stolen. There's Walsh takes it away. Dishes over, laying it up is Boston. She's now on the board for the first time tonight. 22-0 with 3 minutes to go. Mountlake Terrace ready to set 3 different players in here in just a moment. 3:07 showing on the clock. Clippert with the ball. Puts up the three-pointer.
Foul's on Cooper, that's her second.
Foul is on Monty Cooper.
Ashley Clippert will shoot 3.
Ashley Clippert getting to shoot 3 free throws here. First one rolls off, and this trip to the free throw line is brought to you by our From the Stripe sponsor, Edmonds Sports Academy. Clippard gets the second shot to fall, and the Hawks are on the board with 3:02 to go here in the first quarter. 22-1.
Maddie Powers checking in. Scotty Sinks back in as well for Terrace. Clippert has 1 shot to go.
Maddie Powers, number 20, checking into the game for Mountlake Terrace. Clippard misses the second shot. Pivik goes coast to coast, misses the shot. It's out of bounds. Ball is Lynnwood basketball, and we get a timeout. We'll take a quick break. 2:56 to go in the first quarter. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
If you've been wanting to get back in the game, whether it's basketball or just improving your fitness level, Edmonds Sports Academy is the place to go. Edmonds Sports Academy, believe in the power of play. Call them at 425-772-1901.
And welcome back to the Sound Alive Sports Network. Michaela Pivic with the layup, 24-1. Lynnwood in control here over the Mountlake Terrace Hawks in the Terraceum at Mountlake Terrace High School. Riley Zucker draws the block foul against Lynnwood. It's a non-shooting foul. Hawks inbounding the pass there. Back to Zucker. Zucker dribbles back up on top. Throws it over to Sky Zink. The junior being guarded by Walsh. Down to 11 seconds on the shot clock. Picked off by Walsh. Looks to go all the way. Lays it up. Misses the shot. Skylar Zink with the rebound. Is able to avoid a few different Royal defenders and is finally able to get the ball over the center court line. That ball is picked off by Jordan Edwards. Here she comes, pushes it forward to Pivic. 2-on-1. Pivic's going to lay it up. Misses the shot, but draws the foul. First foul of the game on the Mountlake Terrace Hawks. It's going to be called on Riley Zucker. It's going to send Pivic to the line, shooting 2. Another trip to the line. And then another shout out to our From the Stripe sponsor, the Edmonds Sports Academy. Pivic misses the first shot. Second shot up and in. 9 points on the night for Michaela Pivic, and with that she will check out momentarily. 2:02 showing left on the clock here in the first quarter. Lynnwood 25, Mountlake Terrace 1. Tori Dialba checking in for the first time tonight, wearing number 24. Dialba swinging the ball over to Zucker. Zucker finding Skylar Zink. Back to Zink up on top. 16 seconds to go on the shot clock. Kicks the ball over to little sister. Maddie Powers with the ball. Shuffled her feet a bit. They didn't call it. Ball is finally taken away by Boston. Boston kicks it ahead. And Madison Iyer with her first action of the night gets the basket. 27-1 with 1:27 to go in the first quarter. Tori Dialba with the ball out on the wing. Finds Riley Zucker along the baseline. Zucker going from right to left, throws a pass over to Dialba. It gets loose. Powers able to come away with it. Throws it to Dialba, who is also on the ground. Complete chaos down there right now as Jasmine throws up the 3, airballs it. Goes out of bounds, and that will be Lynnwood basketball with 1:02 to go here in the first quarter. We invite you to stick around in the second quarter. We're going to have a very special guest with us. Nayland Sood, the head coach of the Mountlake Terrace Hawks boys team. Boys game will be taking place at 7 o'clock tonight. Same 2 schools battling that one out, Mountlake Terrace versus Lynnwood, in what is now a division game. Last year that would have been a 3A versus 4A game, but with Lynnwood dropping down, changes things a bit as Kelsey Rogers gets her 6th point of the night. 29-1, Lynnwood in command here with 41 seconds to go in the first quarter. Riley Zucker trying to fight through the double team as there is a full court press on right now. Tori Dialba kicks it ahead. Gets it over to Sky Zink. It gets stolen away by Jordan Edwards. Coast to coast, lays it up and in. Edwards now with 4 points on the night. 31-1 with 20 seconds to go here in the first quarter of play. Jasmine Zink able to get it to sister Skylar Zink. Being guarded by Iyer. We get a call against Madison Iyer. A little confusion there. The referee initially signaling it was on white number 1. There is no white number 1. There's a black number 1, and that's Maddie Iyer, and she gets called for the foul. Her first. Ball is stolen away. 7 seconds to go. Danny Hayes, coast to coast, throws it up. Misses the shot, but draws the foul. We get that one called against Maddie Powers, her first. Second team foul against the Hawks here in the quarter. Another trip to the line and another shout out for our From the Stripe sponsor, the Edmonds Sports Academy. Hayes missing the first shot. He's hitting a three-pointer earlier in the quarter, her only points so far tonight. Second one drops in. She now has 4. 3 seconds to go in the quarter. Zucker throws a pass. Powers can't get it off in time, and we have come to the end of the first quarter with our score, Lynnwood 32, Mountlake Terrace 1. We'll come back with the head coach of the boys team for the Mountlake Terrace Hawks, Nayland Sood. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And we are back again from the Terraceum. Lynnwood all over the Mountlake Terrace Hawks, 32-1 here at the end of the first quarter as we move to the second quarter of play. Monty Cooper fakes the three-pointer, drives in, kicks it over. Ball is picked off by Riley Zucker. It's the Hawks looking for their first field goal of the game. They've got a free throw so far from Ashley Clippard. And that's not going to get it done as Jasmine Zink gets a little too far underneath the hoop, throws it up, hits the bottom of the backboard. And Lynnwood with their possession one more time. Michaela Pivic for 3, hits it. Should introduce our guest right now, Nayland Sood, the head coach of the Mountlake Terrace Hawks, on to join us right now. 35-1, and here goes another breakaway. Jordan Edwards lays it up, misses. Pivic right there for the rebound, gets her own miss, puts it back in, and Michaela Pivic with her 5th point of the quarter. She now has unofficially 14 points for the night, 37-1. And Coach Sood, I don't think you've seen too many 37-1 games in your time.
Oh, you know what? Unfortunately, I think the longer you coach, unfortunately it happens. I remember being a JV coach playing O'Day one year, and I've been on the other side of it also. Fortunately, we've had some more of them for us than against us, but I remember being on the other part of it, and there's only so much you can do. You just got to, try to compete and find the small victories out of it, but it happens to every coach. No one thought Butch Gondaroff would lose another football game. It sure happened to him last night.
Sure. Hey, this is the trip to the free throw line is brought to you by our From the Stripe sponsor, the Edmonds Sports Academy. That was number 30, Jasmine Zink, who missed the free throw. We got 3 different players checking in for the Hawks. And Coach, I got to ask you right off the bat here. You just mentioned your JV game against O'Day. Who was your starting point guard that night?
Well, that actually was.
Was that a different O'Day game?
That was a different O'Day game. Yeah. The starting point guard for that, the one you mentioned, is actually sitting to my left right now, and I remember that fondly because the head coach of O'Day is a good friend of mine, and we talk about it, and we actually didn't get hammered by too many. It was double figures, maybe in the 20s, but
I think it was 17-0 at one point. Though,
was it really?
So it was pretty bad at the beginning.
And you're referring to them being ahead.
Absolutely,
okay,
yeah.
All right,
I was never your starting point guard for a game in which you led by 17. I can promise you that.
It's still memorable, and it was a great experience coaching you.
39-2 now, by the way, as Edwards steals that one, gets it ahead to Monty Cooper. Cooper over to Pivic. Pivic misses the shot, but she's going to the line. As a fan of basketball, you've seen this Lynnwood team a few other times, I would think.
Yes.
What's your take on them? Everett Edwards has done such a great job with these ladies. 3rd place in the state last year, and they certainly look like they're ready to make a run, and they're doing so in a big way here.
Yeah, and it's a good combination. They've got, people would say they've got really good talent, really good players, really good skill, but you still got to coach them. and Everett's coaching them, and that's a big part. I've seen teams that are good in terms of talent, skill, and ability, but are they being coached the right way? And Everett's coaching them the right way, and so it's a good combination that can go a long way. And I think the biggest thing, I saw him last Thursday night at a game. He was watching his son. I was scouting, and the fact that they're coming back with a lot of kids that went through that experience last year is only going to help them. And to have that is a huge thing when they got third last year, and they'll probably and hopefully make amends for last year and bring home the gold ball this year.
Yeah, and 40-2 already. There's still 6 minutes to go in the second quarter, by the way. And to Edwards' credit, he's definitely getting players substituted out. Hey, Jory Lambert with the nice defensive play there. Jory doing an outstanding job of drawing the charge. And yet you've got a feel for the Mountlake Terrace team right now. I was looking at the roster earlier. 5 girls, freshmen, playing varsity. And anytime you've got that young of a team, you're going to take some beatings early on in the season, aren't you?
Well, absolutely. I mean, unless you're at certain schools, you don't reload. You sometimes have to rebuild and develop kids. And Coach Ottmar always used to say that's the best part of coaching is developing kids and working with them and getting them better. And I really believe that there's nobody better to do that than Zach. And he's put this team together right now. They got off to a good start with Vashon and beat them. And they'll get better and better. This game, obviously, I think no matter what, you just got to put this one in the rubbish can when it's all said and done and move on, and find some small things you can learn on it. But you can't dwell on this one for too long, because if you do, there's 20 opponents Lynnwood's going to have that are going to dwell a lot this season.
Well, I was just going to point that out. This is a Lynnwood team this is nothing new. I mean, they led Jackson High School the other night. Jackson, a very well-established program, I might add.
Yes.
I mean, granted, they don't have the Kingmas there anymore, but they led Jackson 24-0 at the end of the first quarter. The score at halftime was 45-8. I broadcasted Lynnwood's first round of action in the Tacoma Dome last year in the state playoffs. So you're down to 8 teams. They were beating Kentwood 40-14 at halftime. I think if anything, I think I would turn to Coach Wild and the rest of the girls afterwards and go, you know what, you're not alone. I mean, the small consolation, I suppose, but
no, that's exactly it. They're going to do that, and I know they're going to Oregon in late December to go play some teams of high caliber and good talent, and they'll maybe get tested there, but they're going to have some awfully big scores here. And I think the big thing, we were talking earlier, is keeping these kids focused. Keeping them focused on the big prize and in each game, and trying to get better and better. Because even if you're ahead, they're 42-2 right now, there's still things you can work on. And look at Everett right now. Look at him in the timeout. He's coaching them. He's going over things he wants to see from them. And so you can always get better in every practice, every shoot-around, every game, and that's what I think they're trying to focus on right now. But the big thing for these girls is night in and night out, staying focused and playing for the big prize and not overlooking anybody. And I think, Everett's obviously, he's the one that just called that timeout, so there's some things he's expecting from these girls right now.
Well, and especially when you haven't won that title yet. I know 2 years ago he thought he was poised to do it. They lost in the quad district game.
Right.
That was kind of a shock to Kentwood. I think it was double overtime. And then last year, really, the semifinal game, they were 4A, as we mentioned earlier at the time. They were playing Gonzaga Prep, a team that was led by Laura Stockton, daughter of John Stockton.
Dad was okay.
Dad's
was okay.
Dad's in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
and that game came right down to the wire. It was back and forth, and Gonzaga ended up winning the state championship. So really, if 2 or 3 minutes of that game were different, as Riley Zucker gets a steal, puts up the three, hits the front of the rim, off, and comes down to Iyer. She gets the rebound, and then Zucker fouls her. Hawks still looking for their first field goal. So really, I've got to think if you're Lynnwood, there's a little motivation knowing that you've come so close the last couple of years. And, I mean, really, I guess as a coach, does that work in terms of keeping the girls focused, just reminding them constantly you haven't done anything yet?
Totally. It speaks volumes. We can't say words that provide motivation like that. I know that firsthand whenever we've gone down and done well at Tacoma, it's been the second year. It's been after being down there and tasting it and maybe suffering a bitter defeat. And then you come back and you're even more hungry. And you look at right now, Everett just called another timeout. He's going to keep them dialed in. Yeah, he's going to keep them dialed in. And that's, sometimes I think he's going to have to be a master psychologist in some games. But going back to that point, Steve, in 2005 when we took third, we'd been down there in 2004. We lost 2 close games. We came back and did well in 2005. And then 2013 with Blake and Marcus and Greg and Lauren, we were down there the year before with maybe a team that was just as good, if not better. And we suffered defeat to Rainier Beach and had a heartbreaker against Lake Washington. And that kept the kids hungry all year and the eye on the prize. And, I didn't have to refer to it, to be honest with you, too much. Those kids were so intrinsically motivated. And I think, I don't know the Lynnwood girls that well. I'm guessing, though, the way they play, they're going to be intrinsically motivated also to go down there and do better in early March.
Yeah, you get a little taste of that success, but you don't get all of it, and it definitely sticks with you. You know what you want after that.
Absolutely.
Zucker bringing the ball up again. 3:39 to go here in the second quarter. The score is 42-2. As we mentioned before, is Jory Lambert with the ball. Hey, Coach, let's talk a little bit about your team now, and maybe just the boys in general in Wesco this year. A little bit of is it fair to use the term rebuild year, or would you prefer to use it something different?
I got too much pride to ever say rebuild,
Okay.
but we're not reloading. But we've got an inexperienced crew. I can't say we're young, but we're inexperienced. We have one returning varsity player from last year. That's Gabe Altenberger. And so it's a steep learning curve for us. Terminology, drills, the X's and O's, game preparation. It's quite a bit, And, we don't have, no matter what people say, I don't have a bag of magic dust I can sprinkle over kids' head that, will say, oh, automatically great basketball player. You've got to go through it. And so, we've got an inexperienced team. We're a little bit snake bit with the injury bug a little bit the past, beginning of the year on. Last night we had 3 kids that were out and 2 more kids that we weren't sure if they were going to even be able to go. And so, we're dealing with that stuff. But that's part of basketball. That's part of what every program goes through. And, we got to work our way through it. In some ways, it's better to get out of the way now and hopefully get everybody healthy and ready to go when the new year comes around.
Definitely. I should mention Jory Lambert hit 2 free throws a minute ago, so the Hawks doubling their score. They have 4. Zucker looking for her first field goal of the night, looking for the Terrace first field goal. Misses that one. Walsh gets the ball, kicks it back, throwing that over to Grant. Grant doesn't make it, however. Walsh does. She now has 5 points. Hit a 3-pointer the last time down the court. 47-4 right now. And, talking more about that game the other night, as Zucker puts up another shot, still cannot get a basket. As Juanita Johnson almost puts it back in. Misses as well. Kelsey Rogers, however, she's swatted from behind by Riley Zucker, and gives Zucker a lot of credit. She is still hustling, even though it's 47-4. The only senior on this team, by the way, showing her leadership as it's double team, tries to throw it into Lambert. It gets stolen by Walsh. Walsh kicks it ahead. That's Boston. Boston lays it in, 49-4. And Coach, getting back to the season so far, so you opened the season against Monroe, another, I guess, relatively young team, if you will. A nice game, victory for the team.
Yes.
And then you turn around and you play a Marysville-Pilchuck team that was very experienced. I want to say, am I correct in saying 4 starters returning from last year?
4 starters, correct. 4 backcourt kids.
And tough game, tough night, which happens from time to time, especially early in the season.
Unfortunately.
what can you take away from that game, though, as a coach, knowing that it's early in the season and what you're trying to build with this team?
We had a lot of mistakes, a lot of things we need to get better at. I always believe the kids we put out on the court should be good enough to go compete and play better than we did. There's sometimes, and I said this earlier about this game, maybe this is the game you just put it in file 13 and move on. We weren't going to do that with the game from last night. We were in here this morning watching tape. There's a lot of things we did wrong. And, the approach you can take on it, I remember one of the Seahawk players a couple years ago, he said, when you have to go watch the bad tape, the negative tape, I don't need to see what I did right. I need to learn from what I did wrong. And that's what we did today. And, it's high school coaching. We don't have to berate them. We don't have to constantly dwell on every negative. There's some positives we did also, but obviously things we didn't do very well at. And give Marysville credit. They're a good basketball team. Last night they were better than us, and we just hope that we can improve enough to maybe play them again next February down the road in a game that really matters. But they're a good team and experienced guards, and boy, that makes a big difference in high school basketball. Good rebound by Juanita there.
Yeah, Juanita getting the shot block there on the offensive board. Goes out of bounds. They're going to say it is still Mountlake Terrace basketball with 23 seconds to go. Running clock, by the way, at this point, as it is now 51-4. And, Coach, and I'll save this maybe for the halftime here, if you don't mind sticking around for an extra few minutes. I'd love to get your take more on the team so far, and want to touch base a little bit on some of the injuries you have right now. And we're now down to 6 seconds. And again, it is. Oh, now they're stopping the clock. Okay. So we're going to get a couple free throws for Jory Lambert with 51-4 showing on the board. So I guess we do have a little extra time here now. What is the status on some of your players, and have you ever had this many injuries early on in a season like this?
No, we haven't had this many before. I thought about it. We've had injuries. You lose kids. If you don't, you haven't coached long enough. But right now to have the injuries we have with Joey, Shimron, Ali, losing those three. And then, we have a kid we were hoping that was going to be eligible, Carson, that, right now WIA ruled that he is not eligible. So that's another hit for us. But we understood. We knew what we were going into. But the injury thing bothers you. I hate to see any kid miss time during their high school career because of injury, whether it's a Mountlake Terrace or another kid. But that's part of it, unfortunately.
No, definitely. Hey, we've come to the end of the first half. I'm going to keep you on for a few more minutes after we take a quick break. I do want to preview the game coming up tonight for folks that are going to be watching it. Our score here from the Terraceum, Lynnwood 51, Mountlake Terrace 6. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
Sound Live Sports Network production services are provided by the Broadcast Field Production Class, a CTE intra-district course. If you are a student in the Edmonds School District, you can be part of the exciting world of live sports production. Learn about broadcast announcing, broadcast engineering, and sports reporting while providing a valuable service to your community. Contact your school counselor today to find out more and sign up for Broadcast Field Productions.
And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. Our score at halftime at Lynnwood 51, Mountlake Terrace 6. Steve Willits joined for a short time here with our special guest, the head boys basketball coach here at Mountlake Terrace High School, Nayland Sood. Coach Sood, we've talked about your team a little bit already in terms of what to expect for the season and where you're at right now. Let's preview this game tonight a little bit. First and foremost, I guess, injury situation. I know, being that you're a little bit banged up, I know Ryan Lacoste hurt his shoulder last night. I think you got a few other guys that are banged up a little bit. How are we looking for this game, knowing that you have to play back-to-backs here last night and tonight?
You want to have everybody. You want to be, have your full squad and be, ready to go. But this is part of coaching, and if we're going to be any good, we're going to have to be able to play back-to-back games, and you don't know who's going to be out there. So, right now I know Joey Gardner's not going to be playing. I just saw Shimron come in. He's got a hand injury, and he didn't have his bag, so that's not promising. I got to go down and talk to him. And then, Ryan, I can't say enough superlatives about that kid. Here his arm comes out, his shoulder comes out of his socket yesterday. He gets a pop back in. He's back there in the third quarter playing. So, if there's there should be a picture next to the word tough, it's Ryan Lacoste. And so, he'll play, but, we'll see what he's going to be like and everything. So, we've got our guys, and I think we still got enough guys to go out there and compete and, get better. And when we get everybody healthy, I hope we're going to be a formidable opponent for anybody.
Now, Lynnwood, a school that's just located a few miles from here,
Sure.
really a rivalry. However, the last few years, they were playing up at the 4A level.
Right.
And we've been playing 3A here at Mountlake Terrace. So really, it's been a game that you've played every single year as a non-conference.
Right.
Have you had a chance to watch them much, or have you played against them in spring ball or fall ball?
No, we don't see them much in the off season, for whatever reason. But I did see them the other night, and they played Mariner, and I thought they played Mariner decent. They're going to press full court pressure defense. They're very aggressive, like to push the basketball, and so. They played the way their JVs did, and their JVs took a 18-point lead down to they tied it, in fact. We got to be ready to handle the basketball. We got to be ready to get in front of them and play good defense, and it's still going to come down to ball handling and turnovers and rebounds. And if turnovers and rebounds, we can win that. I think we'll have a good chance.
Neither team real big in terms of height, right? I mean,
right.
So fairly similar teams in that regard?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I think their biggest kid, 6'2", 6'3", and, without Shimron, we go about 6'2". And so, it's going to be a perimeter-based game or perimeter player-based game, but I still think, you got to win this basketball game by points in the paint. Last night, I didn't think Marysville had a lot of size. They didn't, but they still got a lot of points in the paint because of the turnovers, the runouts they got, the dribble drive they got into the paint. And we settled for, maybe too many outside shots, I thought. But I also believe that if you're going to be any good, you got to make open outside shots. And so it should be a good game. Lynnwood's not bad, and I know they weren't picked to be that high in the league, but I still think that's misleading. I think they're a good basketball team.
Well, and a team that you beat 83-30 last year, certainly a different lineup for you at the time with Greg Bowman and Lauren Lacoste and some others.
Right.
I'm sure that knowing that it's a crosstown rivalry game and knowing that a lot of these kids are back from last year's team, they'd like to beat the Mountlake Terrace Hawks.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I talked to the kids about this the other day, that anytime they put on a Terrace jersey, there's two things that happen. One, people are going to look to knock you off because of the ghosts of the past that have beat up on other teams. And two, we have expectations as coaches also as to how you're going to play. And so the expectations work both ways. And Lynnwood, Coach Ottmar always said this is for bragging rights of the Alderwood Mall. With the holidays coming up where, we want to win those bragging rights. So we're hoping to go have a good game against these guys tonight.
I remember that was always Ottmar's line. And
yes.
Now, does that still apply now that the school's no longer right across the street from the Alderwood Mall?
Well, still Snohomish County, and as the crow flies, only about a mile away, and so they'll be bumping into these guys at the stores over there during the holidays. So they know a lot of the kids. I'm sure their kids know ours and everything. So, going back the day when I was playing and Todd Weber was on the other team, it was bragging rights and, seeing those guys around. And I think Todd's got a little bit more to talk about than I do right now, but it's always been a healthy, good rivalry.
Well, and for anybody listening, I should point out, Todd is an alum of Lynnwood High School.
Right.
Now teaches at Mountlake Terrace and coached the Mountlake Terrace girls cross-country team to a second-place finish at state this year.
And an outstanding high school official. He's one of the best in
Absolutely,
Snohomish County. Todd Weber's an amazing guy, wears a lot of hats and does a great job in everything he does. And but he does have bragging rights over me.
Do you think they'd ever let him coach or referee a Mountlake Terrace Lynnwood game? He's got ties to both, right?
They would let him probably if he was ever going to do a girls game. I don't know. I don't think they'd let him do even that. Yeah, they wouldn't let him do it. And I know if he was doing a boys game, he did get an earful from me, definitely. And so, but better off he doesn't. You always wonder about a conflict of interest sometimes. I understand it and everything. But he comes out and does our jam session, does a great job. Our kids have a lot of respect. He spends a lot of time talking to them. And he's not biased at all. He does a fair job, but he talks to them during the day also about things that they might not have an understanding of, things they're getting called on maybe.
Sure. I was giving Todd a hard time, by the way, at the district championship game last year, Stanwood versus Shorecrest.
Yeah.
I thought he legally changed his name for a while. I thought his first name became Come On.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I was sitting by the Stanwood fans, and the Stanwood fans somehow learned what his name was, and it was Come On, Weber, Come On, Weber. And the entire game, they just badgered him, and I thought he called a heck of a game personally.
Well, it's funny you say that. I had to speak at their officials banquet, and I had to give out the Zach Ward Award for the best official to Todd Weber. But then I crumpled it up and I let everybody know Zach Ward would never give him that award.
The head coach of Stanwood, by the way.
Exactly. Exactly.
Nice. Todd does a fantastic job, and again, ties to both schools. So I'm sure
right.
he's torn when these two schools compete. But it should be a fun night tonight. I won't keep you here. I know you need to get ready. Again, thank you for coming on with us.
My pleasure, Steve. You guys do a great job. It's good to see what you guys are doing, and I hope we can go out and give a good game tonight.
Yeah, I should ask you, too, before we let you go. So not only are we doing the game tonight, but next Wednesday we're doing the game against Roosevelt. That's another really good team this year.
They're a very good team. They won by 23 last night against West Seattle. Bart Brandenburg does a tremendous job. And it's a game sort of, you want to pick that game and play because of how they play. They're very disciplined. They run their stuff. If you're not on top of things, they'll break you down. They guard you hard. And so that's going to be a really good game for us where we're at in this process of just trying to get better.
Sure.
And so, we have that. And then next Saturday we have Puyallup, another good team that's going to press us for 32 minutes. So they're games, that, as you can see, I'm getting grayer and grayer, but they're games we put on the schedule because of where we want to be by the end of this.
Absolutely. Well, hey, again, best of luck on the entire season.
Good
luck tonight, and we look forward to broadcasting the game. If you're not able to watch the end of this game, tune back in at 7:15 tonight, or 7 o'clock, I guess now, right? I've heard conflicting stories on that.
7:15 is what they said, but we'll be ready for both.
Yeah, be ready just in case it's 7. But tune back in. Coach Sood and his Mountlake Terrace Hawks will be taking on the Lynnwood Royals, and we're ready for third quarter action. So we'll keep it here again. Nayland,
great, Steve.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Good seeing you.
Good luck tonight.
Thanks.
And we are back again. I am told now we're going to have a very special guest joining us here in a few moments. One that I've never met, but I've heard a lot about, so that should be fun. We'll keep you posted as to when she comes over here, and we'll keep you in suspense right now. Why not? Third quarter is underway. 51-6 is the score. We are playing running clock at this point. Anytime a team gets up on an opponent by 40 points or more, they do not stop the clock during dead ball situations, and that's what they will do here for the remainder of this game. Kind of a mercy rule, if you will. Keep the game in check to make sure it doesn't become too much of a blowout. As Riley Zucker looks to throw a bounce pass over to Jasmine Sky, it hits off the foot of Michaela Pivick, out of bounds, and that is going to set up a new 30-second clock. Thinking NBA here. And we'll have a special guest here in just a second. We won't put her on quite yet, but looking forward to talking with her. Going to get a foul away from the ball here. Get a push off by Juanita Johnson here. That is her first foul. And we will tune up the mic here right now for Ashley Grover. Ashley, I'm going to go ahead and adjust your microphone just a little bit there. Ashley is an alum of Mountlake Terrace High School.
Yes, 2005.
2005. I was going to ask you when that was. And I'm noticing that as we get another basket from Michaela Pivick, that is a three-pointer. It makes the score, it should be 54-6. The scoreboard showing 53. Oh, they did call it a 2. So 53-6 is now the score. Skylar Zink misses the three-pointer, out of bounds, Lynnwood basketball. So, Ashley, noticing you are wearing a considerable amount of Washington State Cougar gear, and even your phone, noticed a second ago, oh, there we go, on the back of your phone you have the Cougar logo. Assistant coach with the Washington State Cougars women's basketball team, correct?
Yes, yes.
Well, very cool. As Monty Cooper throws up another shot, makes that one her first basket since the first quarter, 55-6 right now. So I know you can't talk specifically about things. If you're out on the recruiting trail, you're not able to reference players, so I won't ask you too much about that. But in general here, I mean, you obviously see a lot of basketball, I would imagine not just throughout the state of Washington, but all over the West Coast. Where is this Lynnwood team in regards to how they rank amongst other teams in the state right now?
Oh, they're really good. I'd say they're probably one of the best in the state, if not the best in the state.
We'll get another timeout. As Zach Wild wants a timeout. I'm not sure if this is a full. It is, in fact, a full. We're going to take a quick break for a commercial. When we come back, we're going to continue to talk to Ashley about her responsibilities at Washington State. We'll also talk to her about her memories of playing right here at the Terraceum. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And we are back again at the Terraceum. 5:11 to go in the third quarter. Lynnwood in control of this game, 57-6 right now over the Mountlake Terrace Hawks. Being joined by Ashley Grover, class of 5 Mountlake Terrace alum. Played right here at the Terraceum as another Ashley Clippard fires up a three-pointer, misses it. Nice hustle by Riley Zucker. Throws it off a Lynnwood player. It bounces off of Jordan Edwards and out of bounds. Hawks maintain possession. And Ashley, now you are currently an assistant coach at Washington State University. Nice try by Riley Zucker to throw that off of Danny Hayes. Goes in between her legs. Going to say it never touched her. Out of bounds, Lynnwood basketball. So take us through your journey a bit. You played here at Mountlake Terrace. Where did you go from there, and how did you end up at Washington State?
I actually, graduated in 05 and went to Wazoo because my brother went there. Didn't play basketball, just was being a normal student and got involved with the team and kind of just went from there, to be honest.
Now,
I lucked out.
Now, where did you say went from there? Where did you go after that? Where did you get your feet wet in the coaching world?
So I was a manager for the women's basketball team as an undergrad, and then as a grad student, I was the video coordinator, so I did all the scout film for them. And then kind of lucked out. June Doherty is obviously one of the most loyal people in the business and gave me a shot where most coaches wouldn't have, and kind of just gone from there. It's my third year.
Now I'm trying to do the math on that. Was June already was she the coach when you first got there?
She was.
Had she already
no.
left UW, or had she?
I think when I was a sophomore in college, she had taken the program over from obviously UW to Washington State.
Okay, so then you've been there for 3 years now, loving it.
Yeah,
every minute
love
of
it. Awesome. It's a great experience. It's fun. Get to travel the world. Get to be great influences on young people's lives and such a growing part of their life. It's awesome.
Foul was charged to Riley Zucker, her fourth, as Michaela Pivick to the line, shooting three. And we get another timeout. This time, Mountlake Terrace is going to call, I believe, a 30. Or is it in fact a full? We'll keep. Oh, it is a full timeout. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts, because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
To see how much you can save on car insurance and much more, call Jeff Smar. Jeff's office serves many areas including Lynnwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mountlake Terrace. He can be reached at 425-949-7103 or jeffsmar@allstate.com.
And we are back again. Our From the Stripe sponsor, Edmonds Sports Academy, sponsoring that one, as Michaela Pivick very calmly steps to the free throw line, hits all three of her free throws. It is now 60-6. Yes, that is not an error on my part. It is, in fact, 6-0 versus 6. As Lynnwood is up by 54. Jordan Edwards throws up a three-pointer. Can't quite come down with that one. Danny Hayes gets the rebound, however. They kick it down to Kelsey Rogers. Out to Danny Hayes, back to Cooper. And if that ball went in, I was going to say that's pretty much textbook right there. And this is a Lynnwood team that is very disciplined, aren't they?
Yes, they're very good. They move the ball really well.
So now we mentioned that you've been at Wazoo for a short time now. What is the ultimate goal there? I mean, are you hoping to aspirations of being a head coach? Do you want to get back into the high school level someday? What are you? What's your thought?
I don't know, man. In this business, you kind of just go one day at a time and see where it takes you, because you can kind of go anywhere in the world, and it's a blessing what I'm doing at Washington State, and I love it. It's cool.
Okay, so I know I can't ask you specifics, but you are here on a recruiting trip tonight.
Yes.
Now, how does that work? Because how many assistant coaches are there, first of all?
3 assistants, 1 head coach.
So now on any given night, when was your last game and when is your next game?
Our last game, we played UC Santa Barbara on Thursday, and then I watched a couple games last night, and then I'm here today, and I leave tomorrow, and then we play Gonzaga up in Spokane on Tuesday.
And that's what I was going to ask you, because I don't think a lot of people realize as Walsh makes the basket there, 62-6. When there's not a game on any given night, if you are a college coach, that doesn't mean you get a night off, does it? You're pretty much, you as well as the assistant coaches, and I would imagine the head coach as well, you're all out on the recruiting trail somewhere, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, you have to, It's a grind. If you're not doing it, another coach is, so you got to be out on the trail. And, even if you're not out recruiting, you're texting 24 hours a day. We recruit a lot internationally, and so I'm gone. I'm texting at 4 in the morning because in Australia, it's late at night, and just that's the way it is. It's a grind.
So do you all rotate where you go in terms of the international thing, or do you all have your own territories? How does that work for you?
Every team kind of does it differently. I kind of do Australia myself, and then our other coaches do a bit of Europe, and then the USA kids, we kind of just all do it together because, But we like to do it. Lots of people do it territorial, but we're not really like that. We like to get everyone involved because, you don't really know how you're going to relate to certain kids, and one might relate a little bit better than the other. So. Okay, you'll have to excuse my ignorance because I didn't do the research beforehand, but not knowing you were coming on, obviously. Do you have international players on the Washington State team right now? We do. We got 2 freshmen from Australia that are awesome. One, actually, Lou Brown, was rated the number 2 overall international prospect in the world. So got her. She's having an awesome freshman year. Crystal McKenzie's from Brisbane, Australia. And then we have a 6'6" post player from Romania. And then we have a little point guard from Greece. So when you say you got her, does that mean that you were the one that got her? Why not take some credit here? What? The Australians, I could take a little bit of credit for them, and the European kids, I'd say June and Brian Holsinger did a great job recruiting them, and they're awesome players. So. Now, what part of Washington do you recruit? Do you go all over the place? All over. Okay. All over, yeah. Washington, California, Oregon. I'm all over the place. Was this one of those games where you saw it on the schedule and you thought, I got to talk the coaches into letting me go because it's my hometown? Absolutely. Pulled a little bit of a weight there with that as that ball goes in. 65-6 right now, and this trip to the free throw line is also brought to you by, guess who? The Edmonds Sports Academy. Boston hitting both shots, 66-6 right now as we come towards the end of the third quarter, 42 seconds to go. Hawks with 6 free throws made tonight, no field goals as of yet. Whistle blows, that's going to be a baseline foul. First foul against Lynnwood here in the third quarter. We do have an injury on the play here as well as Jasmine Zink, the freshman. Looks like she might be holding on to her arm. I can't tell from here. I don't know if you saw it, Ashley. No, I missed it. Take a look. Cannot tell. And I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick break while they tend to her. And I see that she's moving around. We will stay here now. She is getting up and walking off. Nice round of applause from the fans. I still can't tell what the injury was to Jasmine, but at any rate, she was able to walk off on her own accord, which is always a good sign. Tori D'Alba checking back in. So you get to go to Australia. It's all expenses paid. Washington State University is picking up the tab. What are some of the other places you've been to, and what are those experiences like? Man, I've been everywhere. I went to Europe last year. Went to Prague, Czech Republic. Went to Virgin Islands. We just got back from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Last week, we actually beat Maryland, who was rated the number 8 team in the country, so that was a big win for our program, probably the biggest in program history, actually. Oh, wow. So the Cougars are looking good this year. Yeah, we're rolling. Got to get better every day. It's our goal. At 15 seconds to go here, and it looks as though Lynnwood might be playing for the last shot of the quarter. Shot clock is turned off. And Ashley, if you don't mind, we might keep you around for part of the fourth quarter. I'd like to talk to you a little more about Washington State and what you've got going on this year. Yeah, sounds good. We see the clock tick down, and it finally stops at 1.2. I'm still learning this running clock then. I thought it was going to tick till the end, but I guess on a free throw that takes you up to the end of the quarter, they do pause it. Gotcha. So Riley Walsh heads to the line shooting 2, and this trip to the free throw line is brought to you by our From the Stripe sponsor, the Edmonds Sports Academy. We appreciate Edmonds as well as all of our sponsors for helping us to bring you live action from Edmonds School District teams all season long, and this is our first broadcast of the 2014-2015 basketball season as Riley Zucker checks out. Maddie Powers checks back in. Remind you once again also that coming up later on tonight,
these same two schools will do battle on the same court as the Mountlake Terrace boys team, bringing their 1-1 record. We'll be taking on the Lynnwood Royals basketball team that's still looking for their first win of the year in what could be a very interesting and very competitive game tonight. Here, conflicting reports. We think it's a 7:15 game, but I've also been told 7. So stay tuned for that. Tune in just in case early, as we might be getting the tip-off. We've come to the end of the third quarter. Lynnwood did get one of those free throws. Our score heading into the fourth, Lynnwood 67, Mountlake Terrace 6. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
If you've been wanting to get back in the game, whether it's basketball or just improving your fitness level, Edmonds Sports Academy is the place to go. Edmonds Sports Academy, believe in the power of play. Call them at 425-772-1901.
Hey sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the West Coast Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches, so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the West Coast Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the West Coast Conference.
And we are back again in the fourth quarter of action. Mountlake Terrace trailing Lynnwood 67-6. Being joined by our very special guest right now, Ashley Grover, the 2005 Mountlake Terrace alum, who is now an assistant coach for Washington State University's women's basketball team. And you mentioned a few minutes ago, Ashley, that you just recently, or the school just recently defeated Maryland, who was ranked, would you say 8th in the nation?
Yeah, 8th.
Wow.
Final 4 team last year, so with 4 returning starters, not to boast.
Well, you beat the number 8 team in the nation and a team that went to the Final 4. I think you can boast a little bit. That's where was that game played at?
San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Oh, no kidding. So
Yeah.
that was a tournament game.
Tournament game, yep.
Nice play there as number 23, Taylor Fahey, drives the lane and gets it up. Gets the basket to go. 69-6 right now. So tell us a little bit about this team this year. Obviously, big win against Maryland. What else can folks expect if they tune in and watch Washington State Cougar women's basketball this year?
You know, we have 2 returning first-team All-Pac-12 players, 2 guards. We like to score it up. That's kind of our forte. Both of them averaged almost 20 a game last year, and they're both averaging about 20, 21 a game this year. So we're fun. We're up-tempo. We have some great players. So.
You mentioned that you have a little bit of a European flair to your team as well as Australian. How about locally here in the state of Washington? Are there a few Washingtonians on that team as well?
Yeah, we got a freshman, Nike McClure from Tenino, Washington. Love her. She's out for a little bit with a knee injury she suffered at the beginning of the season. But she's a great player, huge athlete. Love her, great kid. So perfect addition to our program.
And what does the Pac-12 look like this year? I know Stanford obviously always tough, and I think they had a big win over, was it Connecticut this year?
Yeah, Connecticut. Yep, they're good. You know, Pac-12 I think is better than ever. They're saying that this is the year of the Pac-12. It's the best it's ever been. And with the Pac-12 network, it has just completely expanded how we recruit and the kids that we're getting all the really good in-state kids. And I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome.
I know I've just following Washington a little bit. I know Plum is having a big year so far over there, so you've got some competition there.
Yeah.
What other schools can we expect to hear from this year from the Pac-12?
You know, obviously Stanford's always good. Cal's really good. They returned a bunch of kids. And then Oregon State's an up-and-coming program. They do an awesome job over there in Corvallis.
So the Pac-12 is geared to go, and more importantly for you, the Washington State Cougars are rolling right now, having a successful season so far. And
yeah, hopefully, you know, like I said, we're just trying to get better every day. And even if we're not playing a really good team, we want to improve on something in the game. That's our goal.
Sure. Now, what do the holidays look like for you? Being that you're a Mountlake Terrace alum, I'm imagining the family's still around here. Is that
Yep,
correct?
they are. Yep.
Do you
still live in Briar.
Oh, there you go. So do you get a chance to break away and come back to Briar for Christmas, or?
I do. Yeah. You know, we go down and play LMU on the 22nd, and then I'll fly home the 22nd. Have a couple days here in Mountlake Terrace to hang out with my family, and then head back to start conference.
How about I just got a tweet here from somebody that's watching the game right now, a Zags fan. It looks like it's Mark Armstead, who actually played for Gonzaga once upon a time. Now has kids at Mountlake Terrace.
Right on.
Do you guys play Gonzaga this year?
Yeah, we play them on Tuesday. Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yes.
Okay, well, no wonder I'm getting the Go Zags tweet then, right? So Mark, I think I know who he's rooting for, and I have a feeling I know who you're rooting for, too. Where is that game at? Is that in Spokane?
It's up in Spokane, yeah, man. We love playing in the kennel. They get a good crowd, and we like playing with a bunch of fans.
And Gonzaga's had a nice program the last few years, right?
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Kelly Graves did a great job with that program, and, they have a lot of good returning kids, so it should be a fun game on Tuesday. And I'm pretty sure it's on the Pac-12 network.
Oh, here we go. Okay, nice little plug for your game then and everything else. And if they watch, are you on the bench during the games?
I am on the bench during the games.
There we go. So just keep your eyes open for Ashley. You'll make sure you wear some Mountlake Terrace gear so people know who you are, right?
I thought about wearing it today.
73-6 right now. The Hawks still looking for their first field goal. I've got to think now. You recruit enough. You go to watch a lot of the higher caliber players. I'm thinking that on the recruiting trail, at times when you're watching just a really top-tier team or top-tier players, you probably see a few of these games that are a little bit out of hand, so to speak, scoring-wise, don't you?
Yeah, a bunch. Is
it harder for you to recruit players knowing that maybe the talent level and the intensity of the game that night isn't quite there? What are you looking for, I guess, when you're watching a player in a game like this? I mean, are you still trying to see how hard they're trying when the game's 40 or 50 points? Or
yeah, I would say that. But most of the time, you pretty much know. You pretty much know if you want a kid or not if you're coming to their high school games, I'd say.
Sure. You're just making sure you keep that contact out there and you keep it in front of them. And,
definitely.
And they know you're here, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, perfect. Well, hey, I'm not going to keep you much longer here, as I know you need to get rolling. But a lot of fun to talk to you, and I'm glad you were able to jump on. As a Mountlake Terrace Hawk myself, we always like to see our alums doing well here. So continued success for you, and thanks for coming over here, and best of luck to the Cougs this year. I'm a Husky fan, so that's tough for me to say, Ashley. But
thank you so much.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
So again, Ashley Grover, thank you. We'll let you go and watch the end of this game. 3:12 showing on the clock right now, 75-6. And the clock continues to run. Again, 75-6. The only drama really left here right now. Will the Mountlake Terrace Hawks get a field goal before the end of this game? 6 points so far tonight, all coming from the free throw line. Iyer catching the ball right now, swings that one back over to Fahey. 11 seconds showing on the shot clock. This is a Lynnwood team that held their opponents under 20 points 5 times last year. However, the low point total at that time, or last season anyway, was 14 points, which they did twice to their opponents. Mentioned that Jackson scored 18 points against them the other night, so if you do the math, that's 24 points for the entire season so far in 2 games. Whereas they've scored 146 against their opponents. Lynnwood looking pretty good so far, folks. I should point out a huge game for Lynnwood coming up on Wednesday night. They're going to be playing Snohomish High School, one of the better teams in the area. Snohomish, a loaded team. They've got a couple of 6'1" players, Maddie Smith and Maddie Pollock. I know they just got a transfer in Darian Riley, who had a great season at Everett last year. And that game is going to be broadcasted by the Sound Live Sports Network. However, it will not be broadcasted live. We will be recording that game, and I don't have a time frame for you right now, but and the Mountlake Terrace Hawks, while I was looking down at my schedule, just scored their first basket of the night. As Skylar Zink with the field goal, the Hawks can at least put that up on the board there. But again, Pollock and Smith are 2 very good players for Snohomish. Darian Riley, a point guard that they were lacking in the past, is now on that team. That game is going to be played at Lynnwood High School at 7:15. Again, it's Wednesday, December 10th. So just 4 days away. And if you cannot make the game, we should be posting that one online on our YouTube channel. You can find that by going to soundlivesportsnetwork.com. The game will either be posted that night or the next day. So stay tuned for that one. And what should be, again, one of the better games you're going to see out of either Westco Conference this year, as it is the Lynnwood Royals, who are projected to finish first in Westco 3A, versus the Snohomish Panthers, who are projected to finish first in the Westco 4A. So stay tuned for that one. We do get a 30-second timeout here, so we'll keep it here. 75-8. The Lynnwood Royals on top of the Mountlake Terrace Hawks. We will have some final statistics for you after the game. We'll add up the points for the Royal players as well as the Mountlake Terrace Hawks and get you caught up on those. I can actually read you the Hawks numbers. I have them right in front of me. Skylar Zink with 2 points. Jory Lambert with 4 free throws made tonight. Jasmine Zink has a made free throw, and Ashley Clippard has a made free throw, and that is your 8 points for Mountlake Terrace. Need a little more of a calculator for Lynnwood, so we will hold off and get you those numbers as soon as the game's over. One player we have not mentioned yet tonight for the Lynnwood Royals, Jasmine Edwards, the daughter of Everett Edwards, the head coach, as well as the sister of Jordan Edwards, who's playing out here tonight. Jasmine, a true freshman over at Central Washington University this year after being one of the best players in the state of Washington at the high school level last year for this Lynnwood Royal team. Jasmine getting some good playing time over at Central early on in this season. I know she came very close to having a triple-double in one of the games just a couple weeks ago. I want to say it was 15 points. I thought somebody told me 7 assists and 8 rebounds or something to that nature, but she was very close to getting a triple-double. A 5'4" guard. That is not an easy thing to do, especially as a true freshman. So if she is watching tonight, Jazzy, we say hello to you and hope things are going well over in Ellensburg. Shot clock violation, and give Lynnwood some credit there. They're not even trying to score at this point, knowing that the game is well out of reach. 16 seconds left on the clock. Hawks looking to maybe get into double figures here. 11 seconds to go. Sky Zink throws it to sister Jasmine. She's along the baseline. 6 seconds to go. Back out to Sky. 5 seconds. She's going to throw up a 3. Airballs it. And that is the end of the ball game with our final score. The Lynnwood Royals 75. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks 8. Again, we're going to take a 60-second break right now. We'll add up some points and come right back and wrap this thing up. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Sound Live Sports Network production services are provided by the Broadcast Field Production Class, a CTE intra-district course. If you are a student in the Edmonds School District, you can be part of the exciting world of live sports production. Learn about broadcast announcing, broadcast engineering, and sports reporting while providing a valuable service to your community. Contact your school counselor today to find out more and sign up for Broadcast Field Productions. If you've been wanting to get back in the game, whether it's basketball or just improving your fitness level, Edmonds Sports Academy is the place to go. Edmonds Sports Academy, believe in the power of play. Call them at 425-772-1901.
Hey sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the West Coast Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches, so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the West Coast Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the West Coast Conference.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountlake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. Join us
at Red Onion Burger.
And thank you for watching.
And we are back again from the Terraceum with our final score tonight. The Lynnwood Royals 75, the Mountlake Terrace Hawks 8. Michaela Pivick is our Red Onion Burger player of the game. And Michaela, we got shirts this year. I know we interviewed you down in the Tacoma Dome last year, and it was always nice to get a handshake, but you actually get to take something with you now. That's kind of nice, right?
Yeah, thank you. I'll use a new t-shirt.
Yeah, there you go. Let's talk about your team here a little bit now. So you're 2 games into the season. You rolled over Jackson 72-18. And then you beat Mountlake Terrace pretty easily tonight. How's that? It's kind of weird for me to ask how you feel your team's doing right now, but What do you think of this team this year?
I think so far early in the season we've been doing really well. We've been putting in some hard practices, and I think it's been showing off in the games.
Now, as far as when you're playing games like this where really by the end of the first quarter, but really a couple minutes in, the game's fairly well decided. Is it harder for a player like you and your teammates? Is it hard to stay focused, or would you rather play close games at this point in the year?
I think this just helps us stay focused for those hard games, because if we're not focused now, we won't be focused for those hard games. I think sometimes I like playing closer games because more adrenaline, but this will help us prepare for the playoffs.
Sure. Now, you've got a big game coming up against Snohomish next week. Are you excited about that game?
Yeah, they're a good team. Should be close.
And we've got, Pollock, you've got Smith. I know Darian Riley's on that team now, too. That's kind of a star-studded team now, isn't it?
Yeah, they got some very talented players, and we'll have to work on our defense to shut them down.
Now, last year, finished third in the state. Really close game against Gonzaga Prep. Does that give you guys extra motivation coming into this year?
Yeah, we know how hard it was to lose that game, and so that helped us. It's going to have us have motivation for hopefully winning the state tournament this year.
And how much fun are you guys having right now?
We're having a lot of fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, our coach got us cookies for the last game because we got a shutout in one of the quarters.
Oh, is that the rule? If you get cookies, you get a shutout? Did you guys have a no, you give up a point,
right?
right?
Yeah, we gave 2 points thinking one quarter and then 2 points in the last one.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have 32-1 at the end of the first quarter. So you guys don't get cookies because of one free throw?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's good. I'd rather have them get in double digits, but they're close.
Good to know. So if you're watching games later on in the season and Lynnwood hasn't given up any points late in a quarter, keep in mind that if Michaela and her teammates hold them to a 0, they get cookies. So that's always a plus, right?
Yep.
Well, cool. Well, hey, I'm going to let you get back down and celebrate with your teammates. So, again, you are the Red Onion Burger Player of the Game. We'll have you stick around here for just a second and get a picture so we can post that on our website. But, again, Michaela Pivic, 22 points tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get you some final totals and get you signed off. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.